Hi, it's Carly here from Triibe. Today I want to share a bit about the vital importance I think vulnerability plays in the world, the need that is there in the world for vulnerable expression. And I'll start by sharing how I feel vulnerable doing these Facebook Lives. I am present to where I feel fear of getting it wrong somehow, where I make a fool of myself or not know the right words to say, and then I'll get stuck in knowing what to share, or what I say doesn't make sense, and then I might be judged around that. And I think there's a general characteristic of this in vulnerability where there's a place that we feel scared to show because we might think there's something wrong with us there, and that we might be judged for it and seen poorly. And so I think we tend to put on these masks a lot, such that people will see something we think they're going to like, and that we're going to get loved for, and we're going to get our needs for belonging and affection met for in that place. And so vulnerability then becomes this place of taking a risk. It's a risk to show ourselves and be vulnerable. Being vulnerable means that we could get hurt, and that's kind of the definition of it really, that there's these vulnerable, tender parts of us inside that if we show them, they might get hurt. And I think there's a place for that. I think there's a place for protecting ourselves and being aware of the images that we're presenting, and the importance of knowing the appropriateness of how to show up and how people are going to receive those images. And I think it's a travesty of, it's really sad that so much of who we are is kind of hidden away because of fear of showing it. At least that's been true for me, and I perceive that it's true for a lot of people. There's a Brene Brown quote that I really love, which is that vulnerability is the birthplace of creativity, innovation, and change. And this quote to me points to this larger importance of vulnerability. In a sense, vulnerability is taking the risks to express ideas and express what's important to us, our deeper sense of values, our deeper sense of truth. And when we have some kind of creative expression, whether it be dance or poetry or writing or even business style expression, expressing our ideas for products or copy, there's a way in which we put ourselves in the line when we do that. We open ourselves up to the possibility of being criticized, and maybe in that criticism it might touch on our self-worth, and that we might feel insecure if somebody doesn't like the ideas that we have, that they mightn't like us. And then this fear, I think, really inhibits our ability to express our creativity and express what's important to us. And then this is where I feel a lot of passion, and I feel it in what we're doing here, this 100 Days of Vulnerability Challenge, and I feel it in this larger sense of actually wanting to hold space and call people more into the expression of what's really important for them, and into their creative expression. And one version of that for me is actually the vision of that, the vision of a world where society is much more focused on what I see as being meaningful. And what I think is actually a lot more meaningful is creative expression, is sharing ourselves intimately, is being in relationship and being with the people we love, and being in play, and culturally we're not really set up to actually promote those things which give us the most meaning. And I feel I feel sad about it, and I feel this like kind of this sense of injustice around it, and pain, and this like just like really wanting to say like, no, there's more that we could be living, and I really want to kind of create spaces for that, where people can come into that kind of way of being and expression together. And even sharing a vision like that has me present to my vulnerability, and this is the larger point, right? That it's in these types of expressions that we're vulnerable. I'm aware of where I could be like more articulate. I could find some like deeper, more powerful version of that vision that I feel called to hold in the world, and then I'm present to feeling my inadequacy of actually being able to speak that as powerfully as I want to. And then I'm aware that it's actually only in the process of stepping out and doing it that I'll practice, and that I'll then get the feedback both from my own experience of doing it and from my interactions with people that will have me start to speak that more clearly into the world. And then this is where vulnerability actually, in a sense, is like a place of power. And there's this kind of paradox in vulnerable expression where it takes a lot of courage to show ourselves vulnerably. So vulnerability is actually a strength. Showing a vulnerability is a strength. The other place that I see the impact of vulnerable expression is in how it actually invites out more vulnerable expression from others. One of the places I've felt quite touched from the first week of us doing these Facebook Lives is seeing how people have been impacted from our shares, and then they themselves sharing how they relate and sharing their own vulnerability in response. And I really appreciate all of you that have been doing that. I feel really touched by that, and it really gives me this hit of like how if each of us starts showing up more in our truth, more in our authenticity, that it touches each other and we can all start to drop in. And it's like this place of pretending where we're kind of wearing our masks. We can all like start to drop it away and start to just like feel the relief of like actually being ourselves. You know? And we can start to realize that, wow, actually like we're all quite vulnerable. We all have this kind of basic humanness that we meet in. And so it's actually in this process of taking risks and showing up even though we might feel scared that we're going to be judged or whatever it is, that makes it safe for others to do the same. And then this is how, to me, we can start to actually create this kind of different type of culture where there's more approval for taking risks, and that it's okay to get things wrong, and that we can still have appreciation for each other and acknowledge the vulnerability that it took to actually take those risks. That's everything that I wanted to say. Thanks for listening. I'd love to hear how you relate to all this.